You ever finish a movie and immediately feel the urge to rewatch it? Not because you missed a detail, but because you've just realized you were lied to the whole time. That's the power of the unreliable narrator. Psychological thrillers love this trick. They hand us a character, let us settle into their version of reality, and then slowly reveal that none of it can be trusted. This is a deep dive into the human mind, how we lie to ourselves, repress memories, and create stories we can live with. And that's what makes these films so compelling. They're not just thrillers, they're character studies wrapped in mystery, trauma, and denial. Fight Club is the gold standard when it comes to unreliable narrators. From the very first scene, we're placed directly inside the head of Edward Norton's character, a man so consumed by insomnia and corporate monotony that he can't tell what's real anymore. The irony is that he never tells us his name. He's just the narrator. At first, he seems trustworthy, bitter, but honest. He talks us through his addiction to IKEA catalogs and support groups. He jokes about single-serving friends on flights. He even mocks the consumerist world around him in a way that feels oddly grounded and relatable. But then things start to unravel. Enter Tyler Durden. He is charismatic, wild, and dangerous, everything the narrator isn't. And their bond forms so naturally, we accept it without question.
We have front row seats for this theater of mass destruction. The demolitions committee of Project Mayhem wrapped the foundation columns of a dozen buildings with blasting gelatin. In 2 minutes, primary charges will blow base charges and a few square blocks will be reduced to smoldering rubble. I know this because Tyler knows this.
On a rewatch, this line is almost eerie, because by then, we know that Tyler isn't real. He's a hallucination, a projection, a coping mechanism. That line is one of many hints that the narrator isn't just withholding the truth. He literally doesn't know it. And that's the key to understanding Fight Club. It's not about a liar trying to trick the audience. It's about a man whose mind is fracturing in real time. This is where the psychological layers kick in. What we're witnessing is a form of dissociative identity disorder, where a person creates alternate identities to deal with trauma, guilt, or emotional instability. Tyler is everything the narrator represses: his aggression, his masculinity, his desire to rebel, destroy, and feel. Think about the scene where the narrator beats himself up in front of his boss. On a first watch, it's shocking. But once you understand he's also Tyler, it becomes tragic. It's self-destruction, literally and metaphorically. His mind is splitting in two, just to survive a life that feels meaningless.
You are not your job. You're not how much money you have in the bank. You're not the car you drive. You're not the contents of your wallet. You're not your fucking khakis.
These are the exact things the narrator clung to at the start of the film. That speech isn't just revolutionary. It's internal conflict, one personality rejecting everything the other built his identity on. So when we finally reach the twist, it reframes the entire movie as a battle for control inside one man's mind. That's what makes the unreliable narration in Fight Club so effective. It's not clever misdirection. It's a psychological truth. Because how much of our own lives are shaped by the stories we tell ourselves? This isn't a film about anarchy. It's about identity, repression, and about a man trying to outrun himself. If Fight Club is about internal denial, Gone Girl is about external manipulation. Amy Dunn doesn't just lie. She turns lying into an art form. She doesn't bend the truth, she authors it. She constructs a version of herself so convincing and so pristine that when it shatters halfway through the film, we feel just as betrayed as her husband does. We spend the first half of the movie piecing together Amy's diary. It reads like a slow, devastating unraveling of a marriage gone toxic. It feels honest and painful, but real.
I am so much happier now that I'm dead. Technically missing. Soon to be presumed dead. Gone. And my lazy, lying, cheating, oblivious husband will go to prison for my murder.
Amy isn't the sympathetic victim we were led to believe. She's alive, in control, and pulling the strings. And not just in the plot, She's been controlling our perception. That's what makes Amy such a terrifying narrator. She understands how deeply people crave drama, and she gives us the one we expect, the cool girl turned sad wife, written in perfectly digestible diary entries. She knows we'll believe it because it fits the mold. Psychologically, what Amy is doing here is a form of narrative manipulation, constructing a version of events that plays to social expectations. In real life, this happens all the time. People rewrite personal stories to gain sympathy, avoid accountability, or maintain a specific identity. But Amy takes it further. Her entire plan is designed to hijack cultural biases. She uses media sensationalism, victim narratives, and gender stereotypes as weapons. The public eats it up, the cops believe her, and the news turns her into a saint. She even stages a fake murder scene by pouring buckets of blood on the floor like she's setting up a horror movie. She is brilliant. That's what makes her so scary. Her manipulation isn't sloppy or irrational. It's meticulous and calculated. She knows how people think, and she builds her lies around what they want to believe. There's a deeper commentary here about relationships too, how people perform roles inside them. Amy's entire life with Nick became a performance. So in Gone Girl, the unreliable narrator isn't just a plot twist. It's a full-blown social commentary. Amy lies to expose how easily we accept fiction when it confirms our assumptions. And that's what makes her one of the most compelling, dangerous, and unforgettable characters in film. She's not unreliable because she's confused. She's unreliable because she's smarter than everyone else. Then there's Shutter Island. If Fight Club is about denial and Gone Girl is about manipulation, Shutter Island is about trauma. Leonardo DiCaprio plays Teddy Daniels, a U.S. Marshal investigating the disappearance of a patient at Ashcliffe, a psychiatric facility on a remote island. But from the moment he steps foot on the island, something feels off. The weather turns violent, people speak in riddles while the staff are cold and evasive. He has migraines, sees cryptic dreams, and hallucinates his dead wife surrounded by flames. Nothing is clear to him, and definitely not to us.
She's gonna kill you. You want to uncover the truth? You gotta let it go.
I can't.
You have to let it go! I can't! I can't!
Then you'll never leave this island.
Teddy isn't a marshal. He's actually Andrew Letty's, a patient at Ashcliffe. The entire investigation is a psychological role play engineered by the doctors to force him to confront the truth that he murdered his wife after she drowned their children during a psychotic episode. Everything he's been telling us, believing, narrating, is a defense mechanism. His mind has split itself into a new identity to escape the unbearable weight of that reality. And Scorsese shows it through recurring motifs like water and fire. Water represents the truth, the trauma, the drowning of his children, which is what he can't face. Meanwhile, fire represents the lie, which is seductive, warm, and immersive. His wife feeds him delusions to keep the story alive. This is textbook psychological repression. In real life, it's called dissociative psychosis, where a person's mind literally creates an alternate reality to avoid unbearable guilt or trauma. And finally, Memento. This is the film that doesn't just use an unreliable narrator. It builds its entire structure around the unreliability of memory. Christopher Nolan doesn't just tell us that Leonard can't be trusted. He shows us by making us experience time the way Leonard does. Each scene in the film moves backward, so we are constantly disoriented. We don't know what came before, we don't know who to trust, and we don't know what's real. It's cinematic amnesia, and it's brilliant. Leonard suffers from anterograde amnesia, which means he can't form new memories. Every few minutes, he resets. And because of that, he relies on external tools to function: Polaroid photos, scribbled notes, and a body covered in tattoos. It looks methodical, precise, and purpose-driven. But Leonard isn't just forgetful. He's choosing what to forget.
I have to believe in a world outside my own mind. I have to believe that my actions still have meaning, even if I can't remember them. I have to believe that when my eyes are closed...
At first, this sounds poetic, a declaration of agency in a broken world. But it takes on a much darker meaning by the end. Because what Leonard really needs is a story that gives his life purpose. This is what psychologists call motivated forgetting, a coping mechanism where people unconsciously push painful truths out of awareness. But in Leonard's case, it's not even unconscious anymore. It's intentional. He weaponizes his condition to keep himself in the loop of revenge. And that's what makes him so tragic. He's not evil. He's not even trying to manipulate others. He's trying to survive in a mind that can't hold on to reality. Memento isn't just a story told backwards. It's a deep, existential look at memory, identity, and the stories we cling to when we can't face the truth. Leonard's narration is unreliable not because his mind is broken, but because he's using his brokenness to protect himself. So what's the common thread in all these stories? It's not just about unreliable narration for the sake of shock value. It's about why the narrator is unreliable. In most cases, it's not because they're evil or manipulative. It's because the truth is too heavy for them to carry. These thrillers force us to experience reality through a fractured lens. Because what happens when your mind becomes a threat? When memory, identity, guilt, and trauma twist your perception of the world and yourself. If these narrators can lie to themselves, what makes you so sure you're not doing the same? Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.